I'll be right there. I should have Colleen's phone number. Ray's back. Because what the state was trying to do is
Is it okay to pass?
Yes, probably.
Open the path to the dentist place?
I hope so. We'll find out.
We'll find out, Robin, if we get yelled at. They come in yelling, we gotta go home. I parked over there.
You might just go.
Well, I hope they don't tell us.
I don't know. This is working.
Yeah.
They're back in the back or no?
Yeah.
Unless you're going back in the back.
Is there parking in the back?
That's where I park. It's very narrow, but you can. And then one idiot, usually everybody parks going that way alongside the fence. Somebody parked next to the building because they're doing construction.
Never been there. Well, we'll find out.
How do you unlock programs to try election? I didn't see it on.
I gotta call Bob if you did it wrong, because I don't know the. Well, that was not very good.
I hope the bathroom will get good at this. Yeah.
First night, okay.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I have no idea. You don't know, I certainly.
I know Wes is here already. It's a control of.
Maybe somebody shut it down. They weren't supposed to.
Why is this TV not
Now
working?
it's attempting.
Okay, we're gonna do something different this year. Everybody's gonna take a turn to teach. So Debbie,
We also get paid.
Say what? I forgot I had an appointment.
Jackson Hewitt, right?
Starting about right now, right?
Yeah, with Jackson Hewitt. Maybe Liberty.
Looks like your other one. I know, Intuit was something like
I don't know.
You got it.
And that's what, that's actually. Oh, thank you.
Okay. Colleen joined us. You pocket dial very easily, I guess.
I did it last week with my mother. I had to pocket dial my mother and talk to her notes.
Don't worry, Colleen, we didn't start yet.
Okay.
Hi, I'm doing black folders, right? The black folders, correct? Okay, I did not see so. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. 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 Okay, yeah, I got Zoom up, but the TV's not on. I mean, the TV's on, but there's no picture. So I don't know. But Bob has to come over here anyways because there's a computer not working. So Rich left the admin. Okay. I don't. Okay. 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 Bye.
Chris, should I put the exclamation point on the answer?
Yes.
And it's a capital letter, that's why you have it underlined.
Yes. As I'm passing out the folders, those who came on Saturday, I really appreciate it. Those who didn't, shame on you. You missed a lot of great information.
What was Saturday? You didn't text me.
Paul, what was Saturday?
Saturday was the Buzz seminar.
Oh, yeah, text me.
There were a number of people from the office who presented, Chris, Esther, Tiffany, and then there were
computer.
folks from other organizations.
Thank you.
Financial guys, the individuals from that, presented insurance information, real estate information. Dennis Kitchen was there, he presented bankruptcy information. They did a real nice job.
It was here.
That was at the Eastern Hills Mall.
I did hear it on the radio. I forgot the thing. Once he started saying it, where?
Gee, Chris, I wonder why it doesn't have a picture.
I don't know.
It is here from 6 to 9. Tonight.
Yep.
Okay.
Who doesn't have a folder? A lot of people. Richard talked and Robin, that's it. Those are people that calls in for it and love it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you're not on my roster.
Oh, I can't watch this. Let's see here. Hey, Chris, are you going to use the big screen?
No.
Okay. Let's go through that question.
Use this function right now, Fabian.
Huh?
That is.
I don't want to be Nancy.
Well, it's Halloween.
It's going to be Nancy. Fancy Nancy.
I don't want to be Nancy.
Colleen, you got your book? Colleen, can you hear me?
It's working now.
Picture right there.
Okay, Colleen, you cannot hear me?
She's just ignoring you.
I know.
Hi, Colleen.
Yes.
She can't hear.
She can.
Oh,
Can you hear us, Colleen? No. This is.
She can see us.
Yes, she can hear. Oh, okay.
We can't hear her.
We can't hear her.
Speaker down there. Well, you willing
Okay.
to go this way?
I'm fine.
No?
Okay. So you will notice in your folder, you have
Can you hear me now? Chris?
questions and you have problems. As I will show Colleen. Questions, problems. We're going to do this 2 different ways. We're going to work on a problem in class, and then we're going to answer questions. The problem, I will give you a hint. We'll be working with the same people over and over and week after week. We're changing scenarios. Okay? Some of the stuff you're going to say, I've never seen this before. What?
Yeah.
But Debbie, how many of our people, at least in corporate, come in with stuff like that, and you go, Chris?
What is the?
Okay, so we're going to try to put everything in front of you that's possible that you will see. Okay? We're going to teach old law, but I am going to try to incorporate new law in there. It's going to be hard because we don't have the 2018 program yet. Okay? As a matter of fact, New York State doesn't even know what they're doing yet for 2018.
Still working on 2014.
So, we don't know. Right now, there's talks that New York State is going to debuckle the itemized deduction law, where it used to be what you do on the federal, you do on the state. Yeah, so if you itemize on the federal, you can itemize on New York. If you don't itemize on the federal, you can't itemize on New York. But what did the federal do with their standard deduction? It went through the roof, right? They basically doubled it. What did New York State do with their standard deduction?
Nothing.
Nothing. So now the federal's up here and the state's down here. Well, there's a lot of people that can go in between. So we're hoping, and this is what they're saying, is they're working out a way where if you don't itemize on the federal, you can itemize on New York State.
Hey, Chris, does that solve the issue of real estate tax? In other words, the limitations of the federal government?
We don't know. We think maybe they're going to get rid of the SALT cap. They may put in employee business expenses. We don't know.
Is this for the federal?
This is for the state.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be an attempt to keep a lot of the really high income people from New York. Because let's say if Florida does not have a state income, they're looking at the prospect of having the New York State tax on
Marcus is saying that. It needs an admin, it needs a code and everything.
Chris, it looks like the average majority of items probably won't have the item.
A lot of them, well, right now, what is it, Maria? 1/3 of our clients? Well, at least one, if 1/3 of our clients item. Okay. And out of that, we think, what did we look at, Maria? Half of them will itemize out of the whole district. So it's not impacting a ton of people.
What was it before? How many items?
It was right around 10,000 out of our 35,000 that we
The itemized.
Yep.
And how many will use next year, do you know?
about 5,000.
Wow.
Okay, but okay, we did this for the franchises. Okay, you're all going, well, that's just money out of my pocket, right? Because we're not going to be itemizing, it's less money we're charging. What did the lovely government do with the postcard?
The 6-pager.
Added 6 more pages. What does that mean?
More forms.
More forms, right? What did they do with the child tax credit? Anybody? If you went on Saturday, you would have known. I'm gonna rub it in your face.
They increased it and
Alright, you can see your eyeballs now.
Right, they raised the income limit to $400,000. So what does that mean? More people qualify, right?
Is it still 17?
It's still 17. What did they do with people who are over 16 years old that you could claim as a dependent if the word dependent was still on a tax return? Added a credit. What does that mean? Another form. So what we're losing over here, we're gaining more stuff over here. So your prices are going to be very similar to last year. And never tell anybody, oh, don't worry about your medical anymore. We don't know if Trump gets impeached or not elected in 2 years. They can change tax law in 2 years instead of 6 years. So you don't want to start, and plus if New York State does the debuckling, they still may be able to itemize on New York State. So why are you going to tell you, and I can guarantee you, and Maria would probably agree, 20% of you at least are going to tell your clients, don't itemize anymore. I guarantee it. Even though we tell you not to say that, you guys will say that. Because we've seen it.
Well, even in our own office the other day, we had a client come in and she's like, I've been itemized. She called me back. She's like, I want somebody to review my taxes because so-and-so did it. And I just don't feel like she did it right because she never even bothered to ask me about my office and home and this and that. And I've always given the square footage and this and that. She told me, well, good for you that you work out of home. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound like our employee. But okay, I'll look at your tax return. So I had to explain to her her own taxes. I'm like, well, I'm sure in the past, the person that did your return was, making sure everything works. I said, but unfortunately, my preparer didn't ask you all the questions because she just assumed that you weren't going to qualify for anything. She's like, well, then is it wrong? I'm like, no, we went through all the numbers. She said, you still don't qualify. But at least we went through all the questions and made her feel better about it. And so now she's okay and she's happy that she understands.
People that you ask.
Right. If you ask
And
them
they
the
go like
questions.
this. I haven't itemized in years.
Right.
It's like, well, you never know.
Yep.
Especially if they're medical change.
Hey, I itemized last year. I haven't itemized.
So, Chris, if you itemize on the state now, there'll be additional forms too.
Yep. Okay.
It's where I got itemized.
And speaking of Debbie writing off her gambling losses, well, we could. What's the new rule with gambling losses?
Expenses.
You can write off travel expenses. So you can now write off your mileage. You can write off your hotel. You can write off your airfare. Always, of course, up to your gambling winnings.
Business mileage rate?
Yep.
And only if you itemize.
Only if you itemize.
Sometimes that's what it makes it go right.
That is. For some people.
That's what picked me up last year. I was shocked.
But some people, and this is what I said on Saturday.
Could I
Um,
could I one?
You want to pay it too?
No,
Okay.
I don't pay my own.
You've got to remember, though, some people, and I said this on Saturday, the seniors who pay $10,000, now with the increased standard deduction, are they going to be able to write off their losses?
Probably not.
Probably not. So they're going to end up paying more in taxes.
I mean, in the seniors, to claim their son-in-law's income from the.
Yeah.
You think more people will do verified separate now?
Hey, Maria.
I don't think
What's
so.
wrong with this picture? You're here?
Oh, Julia's a secretary.
But look at my necklace. It's
No.
just the opposite. It's one male and all females.
Colin here?
Did you do that on purpose, Chris?
Did Colin log in? Did you get Colin on Zoom?
No, I didn't know I had to.
What? He's still in.
No one tells me.
Chris, if you can't write your losses off, could you do that state?
If they,
Right,
if,
we don't know.
we don't know yet. Me and Maria are going to a seminar on the 29th. Hopefully, we will find out some of those answers then.
You really think New York State's gonna want to write off the losses?
Well, they want to, what is it right now? What's in a month? Less than a month? Elections, right? Don't you think you're going to start hearing,
I would think so.
you know, oh, look what I'm doing for you, besides ripping you off, right? So I'm thinking in a week or two, we will start hearing all the local politicians who are in office. We're going to start doing this on your state return. We're going to save you $500. Good. Cut my tax rate altogether and save me $1,000. I'll even be happy. Okay. So this first week, what we're doing is a Schedule C. Okay. In your folder, week 1. Did you email Paul week 1, the book? Because his folder's here.
I think I did yesterday. Did you get my email yesterday with the school stuff, Paul?
Yeah, I got it this morning, actually.
Paul
You got it
from
there,
Florida.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
you know
printed-
where we are then.
I printed it out, yeah.
So after each problem, there's going to be questions. Okay? So we're going to start with the problem for Ronald Smith. I thought we were doing, oh, it is Ronald and Donald. Okay. And then it says, what suggestions for the upcoming year if you decided to incorporate into an LLC? How will this help or hurt them? We're going to talk about it. So I want you guys to start doing Ronald Smith's return. There is a profit and loss statement in there and everything else you need to do this return. If you cheat, I will cut off your hands.
Oh, see,
Because they still need their eyes to do taxes.
they need their fingers too. Your wife said she won't cheat.
What's the password, Maria?
What's the what? The password is to get on. It's guest and it's student 2018 exclamation, but S is capitalized.
That's the username first?
Username is guest.
Oh, guest, okay. And the password is student?
Student with a capital S,
Okay.
2018 exclamation point. That's my one.
And for Paul, it's whatever your office was last year, Paul, because we didn't change anything down in Florida, I don't think.
Okay, what folder do I go into?
I can't hear him.
Yes. Do I go into guest?
Hang on one second. I can't hear you, Paul.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, do I go into guest?
You can go into guest. You can go into anything as long as it's not the training mode, because your computer isn't set up for teaching. It's just set up for a regular.
Yes, use a different
So you
social.
can use guest. You can use whatever.
And
Might have
the
20
password is capital EG tax dash 2009?
If that's your phone number, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Use the last digit 5.
Where's the Zoom
What,
code?
Chris?
What?
The Zoom code.
Student is yeah.
Student with a capital S.
Colleen, text me the Zoom code because I can't see it.
018 and explanation.
You gotta do not the number 1. You gotta hit the shift key.
Oh, that's why. Thank you.
I don't know. What does it say on his sheet there?
No, it's for me.
I get incorrect username or password
Hold on.
on
No, hopefully it doesn't matter.
tax wise.
Hang on one second, Paul. I'm trying to take care of something else at the same time.
Okay.
Okay, so you said you went under guest and then you did EG. Oh, you know what? No, this year for 17, it was backwards. It's 2009 dash EG tax with a capital E.
Sorry, I was trying to think.
No, I thought these were done.
Oh, these ones are the E tax.
Oh.
These ones are the bottom. What did you just drop?
This was in the box back there.
Those are the new.
Okay.
Oh, these are new students? No, that's not this class. Because I thought they were under those quick funders, so I thought they were yours from the student.
No, if I kept all my stuff up here. Did it work?
Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome.
I just figured out.
Thank you, Colleen.
What is it? Right.
I'm not. No. Why I don't like that. I'm good. But yeah, you could be set there with the lights and stuff. That's the thing I'm not really. Basically, have more diseases. But if you can
The desks, yeah, just for
and then there's
Yep, because there's supposed to be someone. That's the way they asked us. You put money into an IRA. I would assume traditional. Okay.
Well, this is. Yeah. 6 months. Do you have any questions so far, Colleen? Not yet? So my beginner class got this done in 45 minutes, and they've only been working for 1 to 2 years. So you guys are on a crunch.
Get it right.
Well, I didn't say that. Oh, good. I'm thinking. Sweet coffee and creamer. I got my creamer. Coffee pot and some stuff. Or something like that. Before I get her children,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
All right. Okay, guys, real quick before I leave. Jump Tribe this year. It's got the EG tag logo on it, so you know it's just got school stuff on there. We gave you guys a lanyard too, so you don't lose them. Last year we were losing them left and right. On here is your quick finder, your tax-wise program, I believe a copy of the book, and another AFTR book, which is for reading and training and stuff like that. So everybody's gonna get one. Make sure when you go home tonight to check it out on your computers. Download your tax-wise. If you have any issues with downloading it, then you contact Bob, not me, not Chris. In your folders that you're working on right now, in the middle is your practice problems that we're working on in class, and on the side there's questions and things.
No, this is different. The program is the same, but you have your book and other stuff on yours. Well, you can,
No.
The
The
tax
same
files is
program.
the same. But you have extra PDFs on you. Download it here. Now remember, what did this say in the beginning of the problem? First sentence, maybe second sentence. New client and no. What does it say after it's a new client? He dropped off. So what do we know about drop-offs? They suck. They do suck, but why do they suck?
Yep, I'm on my way out right now. I'm just trying to get drop stuff off.
Thank you.
What now again, besides they suck, what happens with drop-offs? You're missing information. You're missing information. So you guys, while you're doing this return, should be making a list of what's missing or what you think is missing. Talk about. And if you say nothing, I'm going to say you're wrong. So there's a big hint.
I have to go with a pen. Hey guys, good luck, have fun.
Have a good one, Maria.
Keep your truck before it gets towed.
I'm just curious. What was the total mileage when you drove?
What did I just say?
Oh, I'd be on the phone, I'd be answering.
Right, the questions down so we can discuss. Is the 2019 interest not count until next year?
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, where do you put the buttons?
Engagement may not be down.
Oh, I know, but I'll say.
Yeah. Here's the.
For another 60 days.
Where is she?
Oh.
He wasn't. I'm like,
We'll get about 5 more minutes and then we'll start talking about it.
You guys don't get me too.
There's coffee back here if anybody wants coffee.
how do you know how it is? But that's good. You know what? We tell her something, she does the opposite.
Oh, I know.
So, I grew up. It's a- I like it now. It's chicken. Where's it here? It looks funny seeing everyone sitting in class. What a big piece. Okay, good. I make faces. She's here. Yeah. That's right.
Okay. Let's start looking at this return. No one got it right.
Right.
Okay, we're done. Okay. So we have on the 1040, Ronald Smith, right? Hopefully we all got that right. It's like putting your name down on the SAT and you got 200 points. Okay, he's single. Okay, line 7, what do we have on line 7?
0. 50,000, why 0?
Who has 0? Who has 50,000? Someone didn't answer.
Maybe they'll be. No, she has third day of practice.
Taxes. Oh no.
So she's just excited that.
Oh, shit.
You actually have like a W-2. Probably is a W-3 corporate.
Oh, wait, what is he in this problem? He's self-employed. Can he pay himself?
No.
No.
No. Look at the W-2.
Yeah, it's somebody else.
Whose name is the W-2? His brother, Donald. So right away, those who put in 50,000 aren't looking at what you're seeing. Remember last year we did the same thing with something else? You know, we threw in the kids' W-2s, and some of you could have but they're twins, and the parents did Ronald and Donald. But you gotta use your eyes to use your brain. You gotta look. First of The name was different. What else was different on the W-2?
Social Security number.
The social security number. Should you always be looking at the social security number? I mean, I had a client, a new client came in a couple weeks ago. And they go, I need you to do the estate for my mom. I said, okay. She goes, but the problem is, my old accountant put some of the income on her final return. Well, what are we talking about? Oh, it was her pension. I said, was it the pension she got when she was alive? I think so. I said, well, then it's right. So I'm looking at his spreadsheet, and I go, but what's this pension for $50,000? He goes, oh, that was the ending thing. She had no beneficiaries. It was her remaining balance of her 401k. And I said, wait a minute. I said, you got that 1099? Oh yeah. Hands me it. The estate of tax ID number of the estate. Right. But there was $5,000 or there was like $10,000. There's a lot of withholding. I can't remember exactly. But they put the withholding on the personal return. What's going to happen?
They're gonna get a letter.
They're going to get a letter in about a year saying, you have no withholding under your social security number. You owe us all this money. Are they going to back away the income? No, they're only going to back away the withholding. So I had to amend the personal return and then add it to the estate return. It actually ended up saving them a lot of money, which helped, you know, it made the guy really happy. But they still saved money. But you gotta look. If I wouldn't have asked questions and looked, I wouldn't have caught it. And then what do you think would have happened in a year when he got the letter? Would it be the old guy's fault or the young guy? The new guy. The last thing he was going to remember is I told the new guy, and it's going to be my fault because I didn't take a look at it. It's the same thing here. You got to look at all the forms and make sure it's theirs, the social security number's right. This guy doesn't have kids, but I've seen it. We've all been asked, here's my kids' W-2s. Don't you need to put them on my return? You know, you got to look at everything. Okay. The interest, line 8. Is that the right figure?
No.
Mark, you questioned something about the interest, didn't you?
Well, okay. Yeah, I noticed that it's on a 2019 form, so I'm going to bring it up for class purposes. But the point is it came from M&T Bank, and they're not going to send 2019 forms.
But you gotta ask the questions, right? You can't just oh well, M&T screwed up, so I'm gonna put it anyways. You gotta look. Delete the interest. But what about gambling winnings? When do you get your W-2Gs?
When you win.
When you win. So when do people get their taxes done?
Long after they win.
Long after they win. So either they don't have them all, or don't they get them done in the next year? So if someone comes in on March 20th, what's the odds that they could have gambling winnings from January through March? Okay, but you got to look at those W-2Gs because they might just have an envelope and make sure they're the current year's gambling. I had a guy call. I'm glad they didn't come in. 85 yellow slips. He called. Those are winning statements.
Is that something you could bundle them together if they were the same casino?
I don't know, to tell you the truth on that one. Because I don't know if the IRS is gonna look for each one individually.
Only if it's over 20.
So,
We see a lot of people coming with 20 and 30, I think Bannon over 30 of them. And your debate is you list every one because they're all on different days.
yeah.
That's true. You have
Yeah.
dates.
And plus, you gotta be careful because, at least in our office, maybe not in yours, because hopefully people in Niagara Falls only go to Niagara Falls, but you have people here who go to the one in Buffalo and the one in Niagara Falls. And, you know, so if you're just, oh, Seneca, or whatever, I don't gamble, so I don't know what to say on But you gotta be careful. You know, you gotta look at all the forms.
What about a Canadian?
Are there Canadian W-2
Canada,
Gs?
they don't give them to you.
They don't give them to you.
Nope.
Gambling's tax-free in Canada.
Right.
Do you have to report it?
Yes.
Yes. Are they gonna tell you about it? But,
I had a client, young girl, with her husband, and they won 10,000 in Canada makeup. They didn't put it on the return. She said, we won $10,000 in Canada. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, okay. Did you lose any? No, it was the only time we went. Okay, you owe the IRS. The IRS loved everything.
Like Chris says, well, you pay a 10,000 operating tax, keep the rest.
Exactly, people say. Taxes on us.
this one guy tried to tell me the other day he had a system.
Yeah, but I'll gamble.
He would go and he'd watch people and he would see how much money they're putting into a machine and that they're not winning. And then he would, oh, they're there an hour, they're there 2 hours, oh, 3 hours. Okay, that same machine they left, I'm gonna go there. And he said, I'm guaranteed I'm gonna hit it within a half an hour. Like, yeah, okay, then where is it all, you know? He goes, one time, I hit 3 different machines the same day for $20,000. 5,000, 10,000, then another 5,000.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, I said, oh, okay. Here's your losses for that year. Did you claim your losses? He goes, yeah, I lost more than I won. I said, good system.
Yeah, that worked.
The big casino that built that.
That's I said, how many casinos are built to just give you winnings? None. You know, they wouldn't be around. But
You're out to the other side, outside the door than inside the door.
with a hat, doing a little act. Okay, so now let's see what else do we got in this problem? Dividends. Are the dividends for 2017? Are they in the right name? Everybody's saying yes, so I'm hoping.
Yeah,
So 500 and 500.
Yep.
Is it the same social?
well, I put it fine.
Nope. No, it isn't.
I'm just saying, I mean, we're welcome back to tax season, guys.
Goodbye, dividend.
No, but what do you tell the client?
I gotta get it.
Yeah, right. But we gotta, you know, we just want you guys to start looking. We didn't do these on, you know, oops, we screwed up. We put these out there to get you guys to look.
Well, that also applies to the mortgage
We
interest.
put ourselves in a lot of pressure.
Mortgage interest. And two, as it relates to this, to make it more realistic, rather than putting the date for the interest in the future, they can be. There's no way anybody's gonna issue a 2019 interest statement. It's not realistic. But in 2016, somebody issue 2017 tax, it's it.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay,
The
so
social's wrong.
Oh, and this was right here. Yeah, that one's rough too.
Chris,
Yes.
what is our legal obligation in a case like this? Customer comes in and say they want interest, wrong social, it's actually, and they say, well, forget about it, I'll do an amendment. Could we legally put the, as long as we know it's wrong?
We cannot send the return. Someone comes in and says, I know I have another W-2, but can you send it now? I really need my money. No.
Well, pretend I didn't tell you.
Yeah.
That's what I get.
Oh, we
But
get a
you
lot of
did.
that.
We can't pretend.
And then come in 2 weeks later, oh, look what I found.
Yep.
Yeah, that's different. I've already put it through.
Oh, so your $6,000 refund went down to $4,000. How did you forget you $20,000 of wages? It's not. It's usually not the. Oh, I worked at Burger King for 4 hours.
Right. 3 days, whatever.
Yeah. Schedule C. Let's go to the Schedule C. What business code did you guys put?
All 9.
It's 917.
I put it down as a question, what type of business, because just based on the name, I couldn't determine what sort of a business it was.
But with the expenses, must be with the expense.
He doesn't tell us what his business is.
What I want you guys to get out of this, on the new tax, like I said, we're going to incorporate a lot of the old and the new in this course, okay? One of the new tax law changes that impact Schedule C's is what? Anybody know? Section 199-A, which is the 20% deduction, okay? We have to, emphasize have to, start using the right business codes. Okay, so yep, we're gonna have to take 2 minutes and hit F1 and
I had heard in the past that if you put in 99999, that was a good way to get yourself audited. Not true?
all they do with the business code in the past was compare your business with Phil's business. And they would compare, oh, they're the same. Oh, why does he have 40,000 in advertising and he only has 10,000?
So in other words, the business code doesn't in itself get you audited, but if your expenses are way off, it could.
Yeah.
Same difference.
Yep.
Don't do
Yeah,
it.
the
Just
right-
miscellaneous.
But now, with the 20% pass-through, okay, and I know it's not going to impact hardly any of our clients, but for a married couple, if their income is over $400,000, their AGI, and it's a personal service business, it's a service business like tax preparation, you do not get the 20% pass-through. So how is the computer going to know if it's a service-oriented business? By the business code. You can't do it anymore. You're gonna have to find the right code. I know. It's gonna be a, it's,
I have the client.
you may want to keep a photocopy of the business codes at your desk now.
The other thing that I often do is for the business type, I will Google it and say business code and put it in it because it's been asked 1,000 times and 9 times out of 10, the correct code has been answered. You can't always just look at one.
Right.
But if you look at 3 or 4 answers.
And they're all the same.
Yeah, you'll find it.
So we got business code, I wanted to say. Gross receipts, it's right in the P&L, right? 225,000. So hopefully we all got that right. Okay. Then we go to cost of goods. What are we missing?
Ending.
Yeah.
Beginning inventory.
Beginning inventory.
Ending inventory is there, Paul. It's on the balance sheet.
Beginning inventory.
Page.
Oh, next page.
Also accounting method.
That's the ending inventory.
Yeah, that was the ending. We're missing the beginning.
Yeah.
So where does the new inventory go? Under,
Where does the new inventory go, Phil?
it depends how you mean it. Like I did a Trump return. We got a full write-off for it. And they got a 179 on the 40,000 for the truck.
The new inventory goes under purchases less personal use. Okay. And we really, hopefully, everybody in this room, when you do Mary Kay people or similar type businesses, do ask them out of your purchases how much is used for personal. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to throw in.
Chris, you said the new inventory goes on first.
No, it's on the line purchases, page 2.
And then the inventory at the end of the year was at 75,000.
I'll put it down.
Yeah, it's 36.
Oh, here, okay.
So we're gonna to be the typical taxpayer here, and so we're gonna. What does the normal person say when you ask them, "What's your ending inventory?"
I don't know.
I don't know. The same as my opening inventory, right? So we're gonna be the typical person right now. You're gonna put the opening inventory the same as the ending. I've never been in business with an inventory, but you would think after the second, third year, you would go, I would know, I have to keep track of my inventory.
Your purchases, what's your beginning inventory? What did you sell?
Do you need what I sell it to people for? No. Okay, so we should have under cost of goods, beginning inventory 75,000. We have new purchases of 125, ending inventory of 75 for a cost of goods of 125, right? Okay.
How can you justify saying that the beginning inventory is 75? I don't get that. You don't add it up.
Normally we have
We
the
just
last
made it
year.
up.
This guy, we would have said, can I see your last year's return?
I dropped it off, so if you would have another question, then we don't know.
Right, you would have a list of questions for him. I'm trying to, for today, I'm just saying, Chris is just saying for purposes of this, assume that.
Chris, you said ending inventory is at
Yep, that's what, right here on the balance sheet. Yeah, the beginning inventory.
About the method of,
I said we have caps of cost. It's normally cost. Yeah.
what should that read?
You have beginning 75, purchases 200, purchases 125, sorry, ending 75.
So line 40 should be 200,000.
Correct. Yep. And then line 42. Now, where did we get, because it seems a lot of people, where did we get the ending inventory? From the balance sheet, which is that next page. Oh, I don't need any of this. I don't need to worry about it. No, I have your inventory. Okay. Now, if we go back to page 1 of the Schedule C, okay, where line 7 is $100,000. Now, what would happen if that said negative 50,000? What if that said negative $50,000? Line 7.
On page 1, right?
On page 1 of the Schedule C.
How do you stay in business?
Somebody check the numbers.
You're telling the IRS, please come audit me because I'm not in the business to make money.
This is legal.
Right.
This isn't right.
Because what you're doing is saying that,
You're selling your goods for a lot less than that.
right, this pen, it cost me $2 to make this pen, but I'm only going to sell it for $1. Am I in it to make money? Right, but don't you see, especially the Mary Kay people? Tim's not in this class. I can pick on Mary Kay. His wife sucks.
They don't make any money.
Right, but don't, where you do this inventory and you come up with a negative number right there, you should stop and say, wait a minute, there's something wrong.
Okay, you're just giving your stuff away.
Chris, you see if it's like first year startup, they may have more costs, so that'd be.
That's, if they have, yeah,
You
because,
know what I mean, like a startup?
oh yeah, instead of doing a 50% markup, I only did a 10% markup. And at the end of the year, I wanted more people in, so I had these great sales.
I mean, usually that shows up as,
Right, but
start
you
out
do-
with profit, but big expenses could be.
You're right. Right, but I have seen not line 7 as a negative. If you ever see line 7 as a negative, I guarantee you their ending inventory is what they sell the product for, not what it costs them. You know, always, when I'm doing a Schedule C and there's inventory and it just doesn't look right to me, I'll say, what's your markup? But why would I ask that? Right, because like if this guy, we'll pick on this guy for a second. His gross sales were $225, right? After his inventory, what if that line 7 only said $10,000? Something's not right. Because why are you bringing in $225,000 to only make $10,000?
Gross profit.
But that's even before they pay rent, and they pay right. It's just their cost of goods. So there's something not right. So by saying, "What's your markup, Phil?" and you say, "Oh, my markup is 40%." So don't you think your line 7 should be 40% of line 1? Right? I mean, if this guy's coming in, my sales are 225 and it's 10 and it's a 40% markup, there's something wrong. You know, I'm just trying to get you. I know it's my first day back in, and God, you're way over my. But that's what I want to do. I want you guys to get back to thinking. I want you, when you're doing a tax return, you've got to recheck them. You know, maybe, you know, you just ask the question and he'll say, well, you know what, Dan? Last year, actually in November, I had a theft at my store. And they took everything. Okay, that could be the case. You know, but let them tell you why. We're not the IRS, but you want to make sure it just smells right. Yes.
Where's that go?
If they stole, that's it. That's cost of goods right there.
Okay.
You may want to put a note in there. Client had a theft, all his inventory was stolen.
Okay. There's no separate loss or anything like that. It's just heavy cost.
If everything is marked up. Yep. Yep. Yes.
Only because I know I'm gonna run into that distracted clothing store. Shut it down. He told me next year. And he's gonna sell the stuff at an 80% discount. His partner. Okay? So that technically could produce something like that.
Yep. Put in the note. Client closed shop, sold inventory just to be done with.
He told me he was going.
Yep.
Just went to.
Yep. And that does it. Yours is when you close, you could have a negative or you could have a very low.
There is lost everything, somebody stole it all. And there's an insurance claim out, and you get settlement in your insurance. So your inventory loss.
Well, if I had the inventory, we'll say of $20,000, and someone stole it, and my insurance company gave me $15,000 because that was my max. Where do I put the $15,000? Goes as income. That would be part of your gross income. My insurance proceeds on Schedule C goes in as income. Because I'm able to write off the loss, but I gotta show the income too. But now what happens? This guy, cash basis taxpayer, right? The theft was in November. Filed the police report, filed the insurance claim. Insurance didn't give him the money until February of the next year. What happens?
Next year.
He'll have a big loss in this year's return, and next year he'll have big income. Yep. It's just like we had somebody who lived on Lake Ontario last year. Remember, we were able to take the losses as a casualty. They finally got their money in 2018. So we don't go back and amend 17. We have to add that income on 18's return. So Dan and John, you guys may see that. I don't know if you had anybody, Phil and Rich, if you had anybody on Lake Ontario that you claimed a loss for last year.
Like everything making is something that's going to, so that we may see it.
Yep.
Does that count whether they do cash or accrual? Even if they're doing accrual and they know it's coming from the insurance
If
company?
it's accrual, then you claim it when they were told it's coming.
Okay.
But we don't have that many accruals.
No, I just asking.
Loss can also be carried forward to the business. So if we had a $50,000 loss, we're going to get insurance money
Right.
for the following year. He's got a net operating loss.
If he has it, yeah. But is that going to help him on his self-employment tax?
Okay. Well, the next year.
Yeah. No, he'll pay a ton in next year, but he gets the income. The NOL doesn't reduce your self-employment.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. Okay. Advertising. Hopefully we have $5,000. Now we should come up to another thing we have questions on. Car and truck expenses. Did we show mileage? No. But we have a lot of expenses there for the truck, right?
Right. Yep.
Okay.
You can't calculate depreciation.
What?
You can't calculate depreciation. You don't know when you bought the truck.
Right.
It's a lease vehicle.
Is it?
You're paying interest on it.
Interest on truck loan.
That's a truck loan.
Interest on, yeah, it's not a lease. Yeah, it doesn't even say truck payment. No, you can't depreciate, but that would be a question. When did you buy the truck? He might have bought it, and I think next week we may find the answer out. It may be fully depreciated.
Plus percent of business miles.
Right, but this is where you would have to say, I need more information.
Could you just put there's a line that's a
Questions assigned by you.
Right, you can
100%.
do that. You can. Hi, Ronald, right?
Rob.
Hey, Ron. Your truck you use for business, is it 100% business? Yes? Oh, okay. Do you know off the top of your head, do you use the actual expenses or do you use the standard mileage rate? You know, these are the questions you will come up with when you're done. Whoever, I don't think anybody in this room has ever done our drop-offs, our mailings. Oh, okay.
It's a night.
Yeah, but don't you guys, when you're done with our people from Florida and all over, you put everything in, and then you have the list of questions for them? That's the same thing you should do on this problem. You're gonna put everything in, and come in with the list of questions.
You almost always have to put the picture up.
Yeah, well, for signatures, but,
Well, I mean,
yeah, but you should have been written down. I gotta ask Don, or Ron, or John, or Bon. Okay, inventory, truck. What about the, boom, 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 boom. So when you get them on the phone, you can just go, and go through line by line with them instead of, hey, Don, what about your truck? Oh, okay, thanks. 10 minutes later. Hey, Don, what about, okay, thanks. Hey, Don, just come up with the list. See, Don won't know the answer anyway, so Ron would.
Keep bothering his brother.
What about this? The same as last
It's a lot. Same as
Yeah, what does that mean? But if you come up with the list of questions, it will help you. Actually, what I would do with Ron is say, hey, Ron, why don't you come in? Because this guy, we're going to have a list of questions. It's not one or two things, unless he's out of town.
But then you can email him.
Right.
I love it when you ask them, what about charity? Same as last year.
Yeah, they always say that.
Oh, zero. Oh, it doesn't matter this year. You're not going to itemize. That's what people are going to say.
But that's what you're going to get when you say, what was your charity? And they're going to say, well, what difference does it make? I can't itemize that. They're going to give me
Well, I'm going to try.
Right.
Let's get back on track.
Yeah.
You don't appreciate this truck?
That's one of the things we're going to have to ask him. When did you buy the truck? He might have bought this truck 5 years ago.
So I assume you can't see.
Right. Okay. But for poops and giggles right now, I'm going to keep it peachy. We're just going to say it's an old truck, fully depreciated, but it's 100% business. So you're going to go to your auto worksheet, and you're going to fill in the truck, 100%, and you're going to enter all that information. So you should have 4,000 for gas, or 4,500, 800 for repairs, interest of 1,000, no, insurance of 1,000, interest of 4,000. And then $50 for some registration. I'm reading, no, I changed it then to I'm trying to read the interest. Oh, interest is 3,000. Oh, that's credit card, that goes somewhere else then. See, when I look at someone else's.
Yeah. CC was, I should know what CC is.
I thought you meant, I thought you should the credit card.
Yeah, oh, no, I was looking at it.
No credit card. Well, they're going to do that at 0%.
Yeah.
And then here's another question. Is this credit card specific or we're just
Yeah, Phil. I need some help here. Refresh my memory. Just like the investment.
I knew I heard it. Okay, so if the credit card was 100% through business, that's one other entries on the front of the sequence.
So,
That's another question.
since Debbie screwed up and put the credit card interest, we'll talk about the credit card interest right now. You ought to make sure, I can't talk, why am I losing my voice?
That's not it.
You have to make sure that that credit card is 100% business. It's, yes, yeah.
Yeah, under other entries.
Yeah,
Under
right.
more.
Because, you know, he can say it's 100%. Hopefully he doesn't get audited.
See, my brother is just.
Right. And if, say, he went to Tops 3 times and put the groceries on that credit card, he loses it during an audit.
Right.
Which would really suck if he's.
It really is.
Yeah.
Credit card.
But you gotta make sure, you know, like you guys said, have a separate card. Even put it in the business's name. I don't know what his Don's and Ron's business.
Goodsmith repair.
Yeah. But you know, so you gotta be careful.
Snowplow.
The snowplow service at snowplows?
The snowplow. No, I didn't finish this sentence, Marty. The snowplows into June.
I don't know anything.
Anybody?
What's that?
Snowplow service that would snowplow in Depew? I'm having such a hard time finding someone. It's like, oh no, we don't do Chickamauga. Oh no, we don't do Lake Hampshire. What do you do? Western New York snowplow service did not do our area.
Probably because Depew has weird restrictions.
No, Chickamauga's works. We've had snowplow services like 5 years in a row, but all different ones.
Why don't you go drive around different houses, see if they got.
James retired, buy him a nice snowmobile.
See if they got the sticks up.
Yeah, who did the
James
service?
retired, buy him a nice snow blower.
No, don't give them ideas about getting a pickup truck with a snow. Yeah.
That's the $50. The $50 for registration, is that vehicle or is that for something else? So
It's a vehicle.
Okay, so it's $93.50, right?
Yep. So now we're back. So now we got line.
Nations and fees, contract labor.
Employee benefit programs. Yep. Employee health insurance would go there, right? So you should have 3,600 there.
For where, line 15?
14.
No, none of them. Why would it go there? She's healthy.
It's not his.
Isn't that what it says here?
It says employee. Right? Employee health insurance.
It's supposed to go there anyway.
Right, and if it's his, it wouldn't go there. And we already know there's a W-2 that people put in there that was his brother's. So we know he has an employee. We'll get that. Okay, then the next line we should hopefully have something on is interest, line 16 for the $1,000 for the credit cards. Then rent of 12,000, right? 93.50.
Oh, was.
Yeah. Okay. Then the next line is utilities of 10,000.
What about social security tax?
Hold on.
Taxes?
Yep, hold on.
What about the garbage or the dumpster? Would that come into utilities?
You can put that under other.
Chris, if you put credit card interest, can you put that under other?
You put, yeah, right. You can put anything under other, just make sure it's labeled.
With the,
The problem is with putting a lot of stuff, and since I'm the one who goes on audits,
I mean, is it
all the IRS sees, they don't see that breakdown,
They see other.
they just see other, $42,000.
Nothing on other shows up.
When you know when you do that extra worksheet,
They don't show up.
that all that will show, it will, like if you have cell phone and then you list 15 other things, it will say cell phone with the IRS for $42,932.
So for all of Part 5, other
I mean,
expenses,
they don't
the
get
first
it.
line is the only one that they see.
That they see when you use that other worksheet.
used for the office.
You mean they don't get the page too?
What? You can, I mean, you could do a scratch pad there,
But they don't see it.
but they don't see scratch pads either.
How do you divide it?
You, when they get audited, and the auditor is going to say, "What's this?" Here you go. Oh, that makes sense.
Because then you get your.
Yes.
That's good.
So what you're saying is that if somebody's got, let's say, 15 expenses, so you go to the extra page, IRS doesn't see that?
IRS does not see
No,
scratch
I don't.
pads or that, or worksheets. They don't see.
We see it.
If you have 3 items listed as other, they see those. But when you have to F9 and pull up that worksheet,
Yeah.
like if you have a realtor who has,
Yeah, million expenses.
Right.
Really nothing to do.
all they see is one line and a number.
What do you do with the
What I do with an audit,
Do you have?
I print out, when I see that, I print out the sheet. The auditor goes, "What's this?" I hand them the sheet. Oh, that makes sense.
Okay. So it's up to you representing them or not.
That's why we want you guys to do as much detail as you can to make it, if they do get audited, you know, because I've been on audits where it says office expense, $10,000. What's this to the client? I don't know.
So like, you're gonna, whatever you just.
Yeah, unless, you know, what are these receipts? Oh, do you mean maybe that's the paper, and maybe that's my utilities, and that's, you know,
But you should always listen.
always list it out as best as you
So I have a client, for example, he's a snow plowing service, and not knowing, this is clients.
I went for somewhere.
Maybe too expensive for you too, I don't
No,
know.
I don't care.
But he's got like $500,000 income and lot of expenses. So his other form is like
Yeah.
a full page.
Yeah.
But then IRS doesn't see that,
IRS only sees the total.
and they accept, they haven't audited yet.
Good luck.
Remind you to ask next year too.
What?
When you list all that stuff, remind you to ask the same stuff.
Yep,
next year.
exactly.
Of course, yeah.
And they'll go, "How did you remember I
Yeah.
did that?" Because I'm smart. You're special. I like you. Actually, it's right here, but. So that's what now we got the wages of 50,000, right? But if you have payroll, you have payroll taxes. Okay, I always list the payroll taxes under others. I do,
Not line 23.
not line 23.
I put it under wages, I didn't list the taxes.
Right, well, the taxes, that's what we're gonna go over right now.
All right.
Okay. So now you have his W-2 there, right? And you also have what other forms?
941.
The W-3, you should, there's a New York 45 too, there should be a New York 45. Okay, so you have your quarterly reports for the federal, which are the 941s, and then you have the New York 45s, which are the quarterly reports for payroll. Okay? Now these are the forms you guys should be going, what are these? I've never seen these before. Well, I'm going to explain them to you. Okay? let's look at the federal first. So you will see in the upper right-hand corner, it marks the quarters, right? Okay. So then it looks at, you go down and it says line number of employees who you paid. 1. How much did you pay in this quarter? $12,500. Okay. So then now if we go to the line 5, A, B, C, and D, you will see how much were Social Security wages, right? $12,500. Taxable Social Security tips, 0. Taxable medical wages, Medicare wages, and then taxable Medicare wages and tip. Okay. So here we only have A and C filled out. Okay. But what's the tax rate? What's listed on this form as the, you got 12.5 and it says 12.5 times what?
Both portions are there.
Both what do we mean by both portions?
Half the employer, half the employee.
The employer's part and the employee's part. Can I, as an employer, write off your expense? No. Just what I pay. So can I take that figure down at the bottom of this page?
No.
No, because it's wrong. But also, there should be. Okay. What's line 3 of this form? Okay. Federal income tax withheld. Can I write that figure off?
No.
No. Okay. So luckily, this guy had no withholding. Donald was stupid. Maybe. We haven't done Donald's return yet. But, so the bottom line of this form, that figure, you can't use.
The 1912.
Nope. Because that total line is half of the employee's Social Security that they paid and half I have to pay. The only thing I can take is my half. If he had $2,000 in withholding a quarter, so line 3 would have $2,000. Can I write that off?
No.
No. Okay. So, little shortcut. If I'm looking to see how much Social Security and Medicare tax I paid, if you go to the
His W-2.
not his, well, this one has one W-2. But if you go to the page before, there's what's called a W-3. Page 7 in your folder. That's the W-3. That's the summary of all W-2s. So if this guy had 50 W-2s, there's still only going to be one W-3, and it's going to have the total on it. Right. So I can go to the W-3 and get this, so because what they pay, I pay, right? For Social Security and Medicare, right? So I can go to the W-3 and get the Social Security tax and the Medicare tax. The payroll company. If I do my own payroll, I will issue. The W-3 along with all W-2s, where does that get mailed to? It gets mailed to Social Security Administration. It says right on the form, good reading, Rich. You would think it goes to the IRS. It doesn't, it goes to Social Security.
There's a way ask them, that they would bring these forms in.
Yep, always ask for their payroll
And he
report.
was right off the
Especially ask if they have employees.
Yep.
Then that trigger that they have.
If they have no employees, there's nothing to worry about. If they have employees, I will need your quarterly reports.
Off topic, but I have an EG tax employee question. Has anybody else failed to have their W-2 wages credited to Social Security for 2017?
I don't think they did it yet.
I haven't.
No, they didn't.
My 1099 wages are there. My W-2 wages are there.
That's ADP then.
So-
I'll let Maria know.
Chris, let's say here 5 employees.
Yep,
You have 5 W2s
yep,
and 1 W3.
yep.
So when you mail those out, do they all go to Social Security? Or IRS?
The W-3 and the pink copies of all W-2s go to Social Security. Social Security then puts it in the IRS's system.
Okay, but the original goes to the IRS.
No, Social Security.
Even the so IRS doesn't get anything.
IRS gets nothing from the employer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So regardless of number of employees, W-3 will show the power.
Correct.
That the employer paid.
Yep. Because, well, this is what the employees pay for Social Security and Medicare. But remember, what they pay, I pay. So I can just take these figures for line 4 and line 6. I pay the same amount.
Chris, if it was 5 and 4, you write off the whole total.
That I just go to the W-3.
Yeah, you don't divide it by. No.
Oh,
Yep.
that's good. That's what you have back to anyway.
Right, but that form would have their withholding too, Robin.
Yeah.
The simpler thing to
Oh,
do
I
is
see.
get the
Oh, yeah,
W-3.
Okay.
We have 150 employees, there's only one W-3.
You list to the employees and just take up the cost or not.
For what?
Well, if you've got 50 employees.
On the W-3?
And you're filing income tax. and you're going-
No, I just list the total wages.
So what do we do with the 941?
Make sure they're done.
Okay, that's all. Did you do
Yep.
the 941?
Yep. But you want them because on the 941s, if they bring in their quarterly reports, will also be the New York 45. And I'll show you that in a second. Yes.
So on the W-3, if they had, say, $2,000 federal income tax, no, we don't do anything.
You don't do any, because that's not my
That's
money.
not your money.
That was the employee's money. Only box we care
It's 4 and 6.
is box 1, which is wages, and then box 4 and 6.
Where would you list those? Would you list them under other?
I do other,
then
and I do Social Security, Medicare tax. Yep. I do one, Social Security, Medicare.
Okay.
Can you do a scratch cover for that?
What if you on the other, I just do Social Security, Medicare tax.
If you include that with your wages, would that be wrong?
Yes. Because the IRS will now, because Social gets that line 1 figure. So if you're showing wages of this guy, if this guy's showing 54,000, the IRS knows the wages are only 50,000. They're going to say, where did you get that other $4,000 from?
If you put it on line 23 for taxes, would that be wrong?
You can, but I would do a scratch count.
You mean, look, page 2, you mean?
Now let's look at the New York 45. So here, this again is by quarters. So if you look at the top, you will see where New York puts their quarters. Instead of on the right, it's up top. So here we have how much did you pay them?
Okay.
Then what does line 2 say? Since, okay, so what's 12.5? Does the math, you take it out, and it's 10.9. Okay, so the first $10,900 of wages, okay, are subject to unemployment tax. Anything in, no, per year.
So if you had, let's say, 25,000 in wages, it will still
Per
be
person.
10.9.
It's
still per person.
It's per person.
10.9.
Right.
Okay.
Because that's why on the bottom you see
For the name.
that employee's name
Yeah,
on the New York 45. If you had 25 employees, you have to do a second page. This is only one employee. So here, this is your unemployment tax of 440. Oh wait.
438.72.
438.72 plus the reemployment fund, because we got to pay to get people back a job too.
Oh, right now.
So his total for the first quarter is 446.89. What should the next 3 quarters be? Zero, right? Well, let's look at the next 3 New York 45s. What do they say? Same thing. So this person actually overpaid New York State unemployment.
Why is the next 3 quarters 0?
Because per person, you only pay unemployment tax on the first $10,900 per year. Not per quarter, per year.
Payroll service screwed up.
Yep. So you would tell him, find a new payroll service. You need to go back and get this readjusted. They may credit you. I don't know if they would actually issue a check. They may just put a credit out there for him to use up. Yes, Bob?
I'll tell you about my own little personal nightmare with payroll services. I had a client this year, at corporate, who had a business that closed in December of 2013. And he had not, his 941 for the third quarter had only got filed. So we got the, and he had no records. We had to from the payroll companies, and we switched payroll companies between the third quarter and the fourth quarter. So we had, so I requested the 941 for that year. And then I wrote a number of letters on this kid's behalf to both ADP and paychecks to get all the documentation. They didn't send it in hard copy, they sent it to him electronically, so print it off. It'll go through the whole 941. Too bad I didn't know about the W3. Thanks.
Anytime, Bob. But,
I like that.
yeah. Okay, so this guy's New York forms are wrong for the next 3 quarters. Okay, but if they were right, what you would do, because again, he has no withholding, you gotta look at these forms carefully. You could just take the total amount he owes and put that on
And that's what the employer can do.
New York unemployment.
That can be deducted.
Yes, because that's the employer's expense, not the employee's.
So that's then 446, that's why it's stated.
Federal withholding.
Right. You said you had to put on his form.
No,
He paid.
this is what the employer paid, so it's a deduction.
Right. Yeah.
446.89.
Where is that?
Where does it go?
Other 45.
Wait,
Look at the second or third quarter, New York 45, at line 2, it says
remuneration paid this quarter, that makes sense.
Since January.
Right, well, it's paid this quarter. So I'm reading it saying.
But it said, how much did you pay this quarter is line 1.
Right.
Line 2 is how much did you pay over the limit per person since January. So what this would say on the next quarter, it would have 12.5 on box 1. Then box 2 would be, oh, I already hit that limit, so box 2 would be 12.5. So box 3 would then be 0.
Correct, I already paid that.
Chris, where would this go on?
On the schedule C, you can do it under other.
Just so you still list this.
Yep. Yep, I listed as unemployed, SUDA, state unemployment tax.
Just do it like you did for Medicaid.
Yeah.
So technically, the we have to send out the 45 every quarter. But if you want, it will be like the next 3 quarters, it will be 12.6, 12.5, 12.5.
Right, because it's the only employee and he already reached the cap in the first quarter. The one thing I don't see here.
Next question, part 9.
No, Tammy, I'm not getting it. My wife's zooming in. So, there is no 940. What's a 940? Federal unemployment. We just did state unemployment, right? Federal has their own unemployment. It only gets reported once a year. And that's on the 940. So when you're doing a tax return for a business, you want to look at the W-3 for the Social Security and Medicare, the New York 45 for the SUDA, but be careful because if they did withholding, you can't just look at the total line, you only can look at the left, okay, on the 45s, because the right is state withholding. We cannot expense the state withholding because that's not my expense, that's the employee's expense, okay? And then you want to look at the 940s for the FUTA, F-U-T-A, Federal Unemployment Tax. What? FUTA and SUDA.
But we don't have that.
Right, so we would have to ask him for that. You guys are learning, right?
Where would the education go for $500 on the expense?
Yeah.
Because we could ask them, looks like a home, office space, that would be a question.
That could be something you could ask.
We talk about property taxes.
No,
Okay.
we're still on income.
Oh, all right.
We didn't get to his personal expense. Okay, so then on the other, you would have his Medicare and Social Security and then his SUDA, but we would also have to find out his FUTA, okay? And then you could list his other expenses, his cell phone, small tools, the education, the dumpster, right?
Also missing is payroll service, but somebody did the thing.
If he had a payroll service, he would have a payroll service fee.
Next question, part 9.
That's missing.
Right. So who did your payroll? I did it myself. First mistake.
That's why his forms.
That's why his forms are wrong, right? Isn't it the same thing? Well, you come here to do your taxes, right? We do payroll too. We do. We can set them up on payroll. Really cheap, and it would be done right. And after this, he may say, okay, because he just overpaid.
How you brought that up? Like, is there a price list that we issue like saying, if you want to sign up, here's what you can.
Well, we have the list of services. If they're interested in payroll, have them email Maria, because she's the one who does the payroll. I think, what is it, $60 for 5 employees or less per month, which is really reasonable compared to ADP is like $80 or something like that. So, like our regular prices, we keep those prices. I think we make maybe $2 doing someone's payroll. We don't make a lot of money. But it's, if we're doing their payroll, we're gonna get their business returns.
How many do you do?
She does them, I don't know. I'd say 25.
You know how
Fully paid the neck anyway.
Do you know how the software is going to price under the new tax law? Do you have those schedules?
We have no idea.
You don't know.
We don't have the program
Is
yet.
that up to?
That's up to me and Esther.
Nobody stayed with them.
We stay
Because
with
the
tax.
plain 1040, is it possible just to do it? Because there's no 1040A or PC.
No, because what I saw is, one of the lines is, do you have wages? Each form has different things. If you have any of these, you need to use this. I don't think there's a direct entry onto the postcard. Yep. Yeah, until we see the program, it's all up in the air. And normally that comes on Thanksgiving.
I wonder how you're going to offer that promo.
I don't know.
Chris, that was a really good point he brought up. You see that again on the promo.
Reg, what, could you say that again?
But you
I was
faded
asked
out, you were
Jackass.
talking about the promo. Bring that up.
I don't know how that's going to be, but you always offer that promotion until the end of February.
The free 1040 EC.
Yeah, we're not going to have the 1040.
We have no idea what it's going to be yet. All our advertising, we have ideas for commercials, but until we see, we really can't do anything.
When's tax season going to start this year? February?
No, they say first day to e-file might be February 1st, but we should still be able to do returns prior, just like always. They
And
need
then
to
we send
store.
them the tax slice. The tax slice holds it.
Okay. Let's see, what else do we, so our net profit for this gentleman is what? Oh, he doesn't have a profit. He has a loss, which means what?
Can't do an IRA.
He can't do an IRA.
Can't,
So what happens to that $6,000, $5,000 he put in his IRA?
can't take it out.
Take it out. It's an over contribution. So if you put it in already, let's go to the IRA line, which is line 32. Pull up the worksheet.
I didn't put it in.
But let's go there.
Oh, okay.
If you go to line 32 on the 1040,
It says 0.
right, but put in the $5,000. What did it just do? Why? Because he now has a 6% penalty because he put money in the IRA and he's leaving it in there. So if he takes it out by April 15th, you don't put it in because he took it out. Okay? But if he leaves it in there, he has to pay a $300 penalty. Because he contributed when he shouldn't have. And now it comes to next year. And he doesn't give you a 1099-R. What happens?
He gets it.
He gets hit it again.
That penalty hits every year until he takes it out.
But it clears at 53.29.
What?
It clears at 53.29.
Right, it triggers the 5329.
What if he put $2,000 for the court?
He would get hit with a 3% penalty on it.
It's 3%.
It's 3%.
The trigger is the minus.
The trigger is he has no earned income.
So can we?
If he said, you gotta say to him, hey, Ron, did you really put that money in? Because it doesn't say he would like to. It says he put in.
If he actually put it in,
We have to enter it. And you have to say,
tell him to get
yep.
okay. Once he gets it out,
He can say, okay, I'm gonna get it out. I'll say, okay, I'm gonna remove it. It's the same thing where people say, I'm gonna put the money in. We don't wait to send it till they put it in. We send it. And if they don't put it in, what happens? They get a letter. It's the same thing. If he doesn't take it out and he tells us he's going to, it's on him.
I usually
Yep.
put it in.
Yep. Client said he's gonna put in before the date.
Assuming he makes in subsequent years, he makes no IRA contribution.
Yep.
You're still gonna $300 penalty every year?
Every year until he takes that money out.
When he takes it out, is he gonna have 10% withholding?
No, because it will be coded.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do we do anything once he takes it out? I'm not saying he's gonna take it, he's not gonna take it out. He's all gonna rush it.
They'll have a 1099-R, and I think it's code 8, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh, it'll show on the text.
Yep, that code where we're used to seeing a 1, 3, or a 7 would be a different code, and it would be for excess contributions plus earnings. The earnings he would have to pay tax on, the contribution.
What's the difference between an IRA or a SEP for a business? Which is more advantageous or?
Okay. Well, with this guy's current, Pravin asked, what's the difference between an SEP and a traditional IRA? Okay. With this guy's net right now, he can't do either because he's at a loss. Right. I know, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
None of these, no pension plans he would be able to contribute to, and I'm calling an IRA a pension plan to keep it simple. Okay. Okay, because he's at a loss. Now let's say he made $10,000. Okay? He had a net profit of $10,000. How much can he put in his IRA?
0.25 of the.
No, IRA.
Oh, IRA is 5,000.
5,500 plus 1,000. If he's over 50, he could do 6,500. So I'm going to say, I don't know how old he is. I'm going to say he can put in 5,500. He made 10,000. He can put 5,500 away. That's an IRA. If he has an SEP, how much can he put in?
I think it's 25% of his income.
It's roughly, it says 25%, but it's really like 20%. Yes. Yeah, but you gotta back away the half of the self-employment tax and then take the 20%. So it's like 20%. So for easy, simple, 10,000 times 20%, he can only put in $2,000 into his SEP. What's better? He's better off with the IRA this year. Now, if he made $50,000, then he's better off to do the SEP.
Oh, okay.
You can flip-flop every year.
So you can contribute to an IRA as long as you have $1 of earned income.
You can then put in $1. You can put in Up to, until you hit that 5,500,
it's earned income up to,
Yeah.
because you said 10,000, that didn't
that's the
answer the
ICP.
question.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, the
no,
10,000
yeah.
in income. Yeah.
Right, so if he has $1, he can put $1 in an IRA, that's it.
That's it. Okay. If you made 300, you can only put in 300. And I have people who do that.
Yep.
That's not so high. It's a combination of the spouse and
If the wife's not working, they can only, in the IRA, they can only contribute total up to the earned
until they
income.
hit 70.
Right.
I've had clients where it was, hey, federal act. But I said, look, if you put some money in an IRA, you want to save yourself, why pay the federal government put it in the IRA? And let's save some contribution.
Yeah, I mean, and that's depending on if they're a married couple, and it's 55,000. Mark, what's the retirement savings contribution? Okay. We're going to say 50,000. I think it might be 52,000, but we're going to say 50,000. If their income's under 50,000 and they contribute to an IRA, first of all, it lowers their AGI, right? 62. Okay, it's 62. Okay, it lowers their AGI, which lowers their tax. Then they get a credit for putting money away, right? So. I didn't want to draw on the board. I didn't want to get into the habit. Okay, then I won't. So you have the client, will say they make $50,000. They put in $5,000 each. That's $10,000. Brings their income down to $40,000, right? They're in the 15% bracket. That $10,000 just saved them $1,500 to the federal, right? And we're going to say about $500 to New York State. So now they've just saved $2,000. So now the federal is also going to give them a credit, right? And we're going to say it's $200.
No, it's
So now they're at $2,200. So out of that $10,000, how much did it actually cost them? $7,800. I mean, if you explain, because when do they have to put the money in the IRA? Tax deadline, April 15th. So if they come in on March 1st, hopefully what will happen by April 15th? They'll get their refund.
Hopefully.
I said, no, why give that to them? Put it in an IRA for yourself. Lower her what she owes quite a bit.
Yeah, so then you can just.
How does the IRS get notified of a future
Contribution.
contribution?
Any pension plan has to file a form called a 5498. Those normally don't get filed to May or June. And that's when we get tons of calls saying, I just got this form. Oh my God, what am I supposed to do with it? Nothing.
That also is the
Yeah.
I write down on a piece of paper saying, this is what your taxes, put this much in, this is what you're gonna have to pay, but then this is different what you're gonna say.
Yeah. Oh, I do it. People will go, well, what if I put in 10,000?
Yeah.
What if I put in 8,000?
I always
What
tell
if
them,
I put in
let's
That's what's nice about the what if program.
Yeah. But now let's look at it. You have a 25-year-old who makes $15,000. Okay. On $15,000, his tax is going to be roughly $500, right? Because the $10,000 I'm keeping in simple standard deduction, personal exemption, old law. Okay. 5,000 and 10% is $500. He puts in $1,000 into an IRA. Okay. Saves them $100, woohoo, on the federal, right? And what, $50 on the state, something really small. Yeah. But the IRS gives him the retirement credit. What's the retirement credit?
$40,000.
He's going to get $500 credit. So now it saved him $100 on the federal, $50 on the state, and a $500 credit.
So out of that $1,000, $350, right? Now, so really it cost him $300, government gave him $650. Next year, he gets married. Well, he's gonna get married. He has to go buy what first? Does he give his girlfriend a ring? He takes that $1,000 out of his pension plan, out of the IRA to go buy the ring. His income is still $15,000. Why is he getting married? I don't know. But he's in love. How much tax is he paying on that $1,000?
Probably 15, much probably.
He's paying $250 to the federal and $300. How much did he save the year before? $650. So he puts it in, gets $650, takes it out. A month later, it's only cost him $300. How much did he make out? He just beat the government by $350. Better than going to the casino. But I mean, see how you can use tax to your laws to your advantage? And that's a 25-year-old. You know, I had to wonder, I can't put money in because I want to go buy my Camaro. Okay, but how would you like an extra deposit to put down? What? So I showed him, you know, and he got an extra, well, it was like $400 he got to help buy that Camaro.
So there's no limit on how long you guys keep it.
Nope. Nope. You can put it in and take it out the next day.
Don't tell my wife.
Why? You can be in good shape. She gets free money.
You can do it on the 529, so you can put it in and take it out.
Exactly. That's what people do on the 529. How much can I put in? Oh, you're married, $10,000. Oh, your kid's in college, take it out right away. Save that $600 on New York State. Is there any earnings if you put it in and take it out? No.
You can put it in like a step.
Yep.
And then go the next day and pick it up.
Yep. Yep.
I got one question. Should we keep the SEP account separate from the regular traditional IRA?
What do you mean?
When you put the money in?
How do you record it separately?
Have a separate account?
There's a separate one. Yeah, you have an SEP through Merrill Lynch, and you have an IRA with Merrill Lynch.
So, but keep it separate though?
They have to be separate.
Oh, okay. Because I know there's a higher penalty if you take money out of the SEP.
25% penalty if the money's not there.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what else about this. Okay. We also have this mortgage interest and this property taxes. Is it going to matter? No. No, because he's at a negative income. But I can tell you, but you should still put them in. Okay. So this guy has a negative $2,000 AGI. You should, on your form tree, now have a 1045 lit up with the blue check mark, right?
Yep.
He now has what's called an NOL, a net operating loss. Okay.
Did you take the interest out, or we didn't get there? We took the interest out. We took the income.
Okay. So if you have the 1045, the net operating loss, okay, old law, you could go back 2 years and apply it. Or you could elect to carry it forward to the next year. Why would you want to go back? because I was younger and I looked good. And
Tax that.
You can only go back if you had a lot of tax in prior years. You would reduce that tax.
right, it's not going to reduce the self-employment tax.
Right.
It's only going to reduce the income tax. So do we have crystal balls? Do we know what his income's going to look like next year? No. So if 2015, this guy had income, I'm making a figure up of $70,000 net profit. Okay, we can go back and take this $2,000 net operating loss, apply it to that year, and he'll get a refund. Plus what? Interest. If he carries it forward, there's no interest. Right?
It's still 3,000 there, right? Still 3,000.
No, that's the capital gain loss. Thank you, I'm in the class. Okay, I'll call you in a little bit. Bye. Sorry.
But my 1045 is showing just 6,100.
Well, it depends how you put stuff in there for right now. So you can go back 2 years. New law. Starting this year. No more going back. You can only carry forward. Yep. And you're only allowed 90% of your NOL. So if you have an NOL of 10,000, they're only going to let you use 9,000 going forward. Yeah. Yes.
So this says I got a net operating loss of minus $1,100. Now, how would you go back to that?
The 1045 here, and then you have to do an amended return for 2015, do NOL from 2017, and attach the 1045 to the amended return.
So where do you put the NOL?
Line 21.
Line 21, okay.
You can only go forward 1 year?
No, you can go forward 20.
20, yeah, that's what I said.
How much is the AGI?
I don't know anymore.
Oh, I just wondered, because you said minus 2,000.
I don't know, somebody had -4, someone had -6, okay. Someone had -2.
By the way.
But it's a mortgage.
You can put in the self-employment health insurance deduction, correct?
No, because he has no positive income. You can put it in, it would go to the Schedule A.
If it doesn't have that insurance anyway.
Okay, so you have to go to the sheet to do it.
I put it on anyway.
But he doesn't have it anyway. He didn't pay insurance. He only paid for his
Did you say he
employee.
paid for his own health insurance?
No, for the employee only.
Yes.
Oh, he did?
$2,000.
Oh, okay.
$2,000, it's on page 1.
Yes.
But if he's only paying $2,000 for, now, this is what I want you guys to think. Hold on. Hold on. If he's only paying $2,000 a year for health insurance, what's that telling me? Not even that. What? He's getting a subsidy, which means what? He should bring in
1095A.
a 1095A. Because if you send the return, what's going to happen? It's going to go bounce, 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 bounce back to your lap, and you're going to have to go, hey, Rod, you lied. No, I need that 1095A. Yes.
So I have multiple questions. The first is did you go through the marketplace? And the other is you paid $2,000 for health insurance, but you took $3,600 for your employee health insurance. How does that work?
He has a better plan.
Would you have a plan for your employee that's separate from yours?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. That's,
yeah.
I'm not familiar with it, that's why I'm asking. But
No,
I can see the
the type, just so
discrepancy.
you know, me, my wife, Maria, Esther, we all have health insurance through EG Tax. We can pick our own plan. So Maria can have a very high deductible because she may say, I'm never going to the doctors. My kids are covered elsewhere. I don't care. I have 2 girls. I don't want a high deductible plan because they go to the doctors. So I can pick a different plan. So each plan has their own cost.
Is that through the marketplace?
Nope, that's through
Right. So in other words,
a
just,
broker.
right, so it doesn't necessarily mean that he has a 1095A.
But you got it. But
right.
I can tell you, there's no plan out there for $2,000 a year besides Medicare. Through Social Security. Medicaid. And Medicaid is free. He might have discontinued. He may have only paid it for 5 months.
And the penalty's still
Yeah,
there.
so you still have to ask where you got it from.
Yep. How long did you have it for? Well, you filled out that form in the waiting room. Yeah, okay, sure you did.
Why does he give us?
Not for 18, for 19.
Oh, it isn't going away?
For 19, for not have, only thing that's going away is not having health insurance. If you still get money, a subsidy, you still have to do the check and balance, 8962.
I got a question on the balance sheet. How come it's got an $82,000 retained earnings?
Because he didn't take out that money from the business.
Yeah, but it's
The
all,
retained earnings is how much money you leave in the company over its lifetime. So he's left $82,000 in the business bank account.
well, it doesn't do with his income.
No.
K1, okay.
No.
Just to cross T's and dot I's, the requirement to have health insurance did not go away. The fine for not having health insurance is what they set to zero.
Going for 2019.
Correct. But
Not
it's not,
18.
but they didn't get rid of the requirement to have health insurance. They zeroed the
Well,
fine.
basically,
Yeah, but that's why the rest of it's still there. You still get, because they didn't make the whole thing go away. They just changed the fine.
yeah. Yeah. After starting in 19? No, they zeroed out my penalty at all. Yeah. Let's see. What suggestions would you make for the upcoming tax year? Make money. You know, besides make money. You know, when people ask, what should I do? Right? Don't that, you know, I know your business, I know my business. No, but doing this, we see a lot of people, right? We see other people who may have an auto mechanic shop. You know, it may come down to he may have to increase his cost of labor. You know, he may only be charging $20 an hour, where what's a mechanic shop charging now? 60?
95.
You know, maybe, well, his rent's not bad, it's $1,000 a month. But go through his expenses and see what are you spending money on that you don't have to? Why are your utilities, wasn't his utilities a lot of money?
His utility was a lot, but I also want to know what the rent was, because he lives, his address is, his business is not different, so, and he's paying a mortgage. So his rent is for something else. You can't.
Well, it could be, he may just use the shop, his address for the shop address. You would have to ask him, is the shop in your house?
Right.
Well, it is. Is the shop paying you rent? Yes. You can't do that. Well, they're supposedly paying.
Well, one thing
Because if it was his, if they was collecting rent, what would you have to do then? You would have to then do a Schedule E. Okay. Why is he spending $4,500 if it's an auto mechanic shop, right? Why is he spending $4,500 in gas? You know, where are you going to get your parts? Florida? You know, or it could be a tow truck. It could be a tow truck. But, you know, he's asking you, but actually that's something you may want to you spend $4,500. Oh, I do plowing, or I do, you know. But you gotta ask the questions. You know.
It does also make sure keep track of his inventory at the end of the year.
Right, the inventory may be way off.
Yeah, at the end of the year inventory.
You know, just go through things with them. I had one of Esther's clients and did a consultation. And he did landscaping. And he goes, what can I do? I want to make sure I pay into Social Security. Am I paying into Social Security? Because now I have to start, I'm getting older. I said, okay, well, so I pull up his return. First one, do you mind if I pull up your return? I always, okay, pull up his return. And I said, well, first thing I'm going to say is, I know the type of business you're in. I know what happens. I don't know you, but I'm going to say this anyways. Are you reporting all of your income? I know landscapers who take cash and they don't report it. Or they'll say, I'll do your landscaping, do my kid's teeth to a dentist. They barter. They write off the expenses, but they don't claim the income, right? Oh, I claim everything. Oh, okay, so you made $10,000 last year, and you have 4 kids. Yep. Well, my wife works. Okay, she makes $20,000. His father was sitting right there, and he goes, "How can he write off his truck loan because it's in my name, and he pays me back?" No deduction. What about no deduction? So where he's showing a $10,000 profit is really a lot. I said, how are you doing this? I said, you asked me how you can improve and how you can make sure you're paying into Social Security. I'm telling you, claim all your income. Well, my son helps me. Okay, I don't see it here. You pay him? Yep. How do you pay him? In cash. I said, I can tell you right now, if you're paying him cash and you're not reporting it and he's not reporting it, you're collecting cash and you're not reporting it. But I said, I'm not the IRS, but it is Esther's client. I said, I'm not the IRS. You asked me these questions, and I'm telling you right now, it's better that I ask you these questions and tell you this than you're at 130 South Elmwood, and they're doing it. Because what they can do is say, gee, Phil, you live there? That's a nice house. You have mortgage interest and your property taxes? Okay, well, and you have 4 kids? We think you're gonna need at least $90,000 a year to live. So we're gonna add, right now you're at 30, we're gonna add $60,000 to your Schedule C. They can do that.
They can?
Yep. And they have.
Just like that?
It's not unreported, it's imputed.
Okay, so then when you collect Social Security, they count.
That counts.
But all that, he's gonna have to.
But he's gonna go.
Taxes that he owed on money that he did.
Right.
Yeah, so then they're gonna go, okay, let's see, what years are open? 15, 16, 17? Let's look at all of them.
Well, they normally do.
Some depends on the paperwork. Which they could then, because if he's not reporting all his income, what is it? Fraud, right? How many years can they go back for fraud? As long as they want. Okay?
Right, if they suspect fraud.
It's got to be worth it. I hate to say this though. It's got to be worth it for the IRS. And what I mean by that is they do a cost analysis. How much paperwork? How much time? Do we have to go to the courts? How do we do? Okay, it's going to cost us $20,000
to go after Jack for $5,000. Are we gonna do it? No. Well, it's the government thing. But normally, no, they don't. Because it's too much money to process everything. But those 3 years that are open, they can.
Well, it feels when you're talking about Social Security, how much Social Security am I gonna get? I've been self-employed. Well, these people, you hit 60s in your 60s to collect Social Security faster than people want to admit when they're young. They think all the years they were working under the table or off the books counts. Now their Social Security's crap. And they're like, well, why? Because you didn't claim all your income, idiot.
I go, you know those Walmart greeters?
Yeah.
How old are Walmart greeters?
87.
Right? Or you go to your local restaurant, how old are the waitresses? Right? They're up. Why are they still working? Because when they worked all those other years, they didn't report all their income. So now they have to work when they didn't think they were going to help their costs because their Social Security is terrible. You know, it's people are stupid. It's the easiest way to say it.
Right, but they're like cheering when, I don't claim all.
I got away with it.
Yeah, really, I earned all the money and didn't claim it.
I had one client last year who was supporting her mother because her mother was retired when she didn't have enough quarters to draw Social Security because everything she made was under the table as a servant.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. You know, how many women cut hair in their basements? And they don't report
Years
it.
ago.
Yeah. You know, it's ridiculous. I mean, my best story I have is I have a servant. He's still my client to this day. I've known him. My daughter's 24. I've known him for 23 years. Because we used to go to the restaurant. I used to live right by the restaurant where he worked. And his W-2 one year went from $15,000 a year to $50,000 a year at this restaurant. I go, what are you doing? What? He goes, I'm claiming everything now. Didn't you claim everything before?
I've been doing your things.
But now he claims all his boss said, what are you doing to me? You can't do that. He goes, you want the IRS to come in? And he goes, I'm claiming it, first of all, to build up now I'm not 25 anymore. I'm 45, 50. I got to start thinking about my Social Security. Okay? But this guy, while he was cleaning a table, he slit his tendon or whatever you want to call it in between the thumb and the finger, right here. He was out of work for 8 weeks. He got paid based upon his $50,000.
Wow.
Not his $15,000. So they were able, him and his wife were able to manage a while because he was getting more money. I mean, you don't think like that, right?
No, when you wake up and know.
Nothing's going to happen to me. I'm going to live forever and be healthy. How many in this room have ever had health problems? Gee, Phil, what happened a couple years ago?
You and me.
You know, but, right? We don't know. You don't know what happens. I just have a client. She's 60, he's 62. They both just retired in January. And they go, we're young, we want to enjoy ourselves, we're going to travel, we're buying a trailer. I said, great. Went for a physical, he went for it in February, clean bill of health. Everything was fine.
You have had this story.
In July, they were in Virginia Beach. He's on the beach and he goes, honey, look at my leg. She goes, why? I have a big lump. And she's looking at it. She says, well, you know, it is 100 degrees. You ate a lot of fried food and French fries. Your salt intake was through the roof. Just go in the shade, put up your leg. So he did for the rest of the day. Swapped, it went down. They go to dinner, he didn't eat. He wasn't feeling good. Go back to the trailer. I feel bloated. I didn't eat anything though. She looked at me. We're going to the emergency room. 19 days later, he died.
stage 4 cancer throughout his whole body.
Never felt it.
Never felt it. February, 6 months prior, 5 months prior, clean bill of health.
Yeah.
You know, look at those people in the limousine. I hate to say that, right? That whole family got wiped out, 30 to 35 years old. If you think they woke up that day going, it's my time, you don't know. You've got, who looks out for you better than you, right? And that's what you got to tell people. Claim the income. But I got to pay taxes. Join the club. You know?
Yep. One more question about this problem. On page 1, it states that he paid New York State income taxes of $4,000 in 2016. Was that for 2016 that he paid in 17? Is that what goes on the return? Just part.
He may have done estimates and he still owed New York State.
But if he does, he puts that
On
down.
the Schedule A. Right? It's not estimates. He just finished paying New York State $4,000.
That's right.
It could have been for 3 other years. You know, it's just Schedule A. Homework. On your left side of your folder, let's do the first 10 questions. We'll say the first 9, it takes you up to page 4. Oh no, 10, page 5, there's no more after page 5. So, okay, so 1 through 5, you're gonna do those questions. And then you're gonna do week 2 problem, which is oh, there's no page number on it. Yeah. You're going to do this return now as a partnership, and then you're going to do the individual. And we're going to walk through it next week, but I want you guys to start practicing it. So when you come in next week and you do it here, you can do it. I'm sure there'll still be questions. Big thing to remember, just so you know, for those who haven't done it, a partnership, a corporation, what do I always say in my class is what? A glorified Schedule C. But all, she doesn't believe. All it is a different form number and an extra form. What you're going to go to, for those who have never done one before, you're not going to, unlike a personal return where we have a main information page, there is none for a partnership or corporations. It will load it up right on the 1065. So you're going to put in the heading, which is their name and all that, address. Put your stuff down below. You're not going to put in any figures. You're going to hit F10, and on the forms menu, you're going to go to a trial balance sheet. And the trial balance, on the bottom half, the left side will be income, and the right side will be expenses. It's not that hard.
Would you still use his W-2 for his son?
No, for his brother?
Yeah.
No, because now they're a partnership.
Okay, so that's the same income.
Same income, yep. Okay. Go home. Enjoy Troy. Anthony has a question.
I think, you know, would it
We're just having that in there. So we get together before I start dancing.
Oh.
All right.
Okay, I put that, yeah, tell her. See you next week.
No, I know.
We're in a hurricane. We kept the hurricane. No lights, no posts. Always nice. No, I'm playing right home. You know, we $37.
Wow. That was brutal. Wow.
You know, I know. It's real.
Yeah, those are yours. Oh, okay. 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 Yeah. You guys handle them right?
Yeah.
It is. No. Okay.
Yeah, it's a great read.
Okay, okay, yeah. I'm sure it's a lot of values that we practice.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. Unfortunately, a lot of times we don't. Yeah, let me just hit the head real quick. Yep. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry this happened. We're not a minute off. I'm just sorry that it.
All right, I'm off.
Okay. Oh.